Hey guys, welcome to Massive Iron Live. New Year's Eve edition. New Year's Eve edition. Got to get all that nasty stuff from 2021 out of my head. How you guys doing? I'm going to wait for YouTube to actually notify people that we're on. Hope you guys are doing well. Let me just pull up the chat window here. And I appreciate you guys joining me. It's been a good year. Not the best of years with a lot of the pandemic nonsense going on. So let me know how the year has been for you guys. And if you have any goals for the upcoming year, I'd like to hear those as well. We can comb through your goals. If you have any questions about your goals for the new year, post them up. Guys, before we dive into things, let me know where you're from, how you're doing. I'll be on as long as you have questions. It's freezing in my office, so excuse me. I'll be on as long as you guys have questions. And just a reminder, if your question doesn't go through, head over to Instagram at Ben the Barman, at Ben the Barman. Slide into my DM and post up your questions. Sometimes questions don't go through here. That is not me ignoring you. That is YouTube playing silly, wacky games. So just keep that in mind. I'm going to head over to open a tab with Instagram. So if something goes wrong where your question doesn't go through, just know you go over to Instagram at Ben the Barman, at Ben the Barman. Slide into my DM, etc. So what are you guys doing? What are you guys doing for New Year's? I know in Australia, some of you guys are getting drunk right now and celebrating New Year. Hope you guys are safe over there. Let me know what you guys are doing for New Year's, if anything. Let me know if any of you guys are watching the bowl games. I am near Cincinnati. I'm not from Cincinnati, but Cincinnati is playing at 3 o'clock, I believe. So it's big in this area. Before I get into things, guys, it is the New Year's, and I want to share a few things. So just deal with my commercial. Please don't click away. Coaching is what I do for a living. I have a lot of very successful clients. And if you head over to my website, superlivingtoday.com, I'm going to let you guys know of a few possible things. There's a workout tab up here, and you can see there's tons of great workout ideas for the new year. There's actually 2 pages. If you need a workout idea, head over to my website and scoop some of those up. There's also a coaching tab. And if you click on the coaching tab, you see the first one is a 3-month commitment, $80 a month for coaching. Please sign up. Everything I do is custom. It's not cookie cutter. We set up a time to talk. I am with you nearly every single day. I monitor your training. I monitor your nutrition. I monitor your exercise form. Unlimited communication. You can send form videos for me to check every single day. So I'm able to keep the price low because this is what I do for a living. I keep a healthy client base. I answer anywhere from 300 to 600 messages a day and comb through anywhere from 50 to 70 form videos a day. So check that out if you have any questions. There's also a Save Big tab if you want to get in and save money and get bonus months, et cetera, et cetera. So enough of the commercial. Let's dive in. Let me know what you guys are doing for New Year's, what your goals are for New Year's. You know, Stein is in first, and you can probably hear my dogs in the background going crazy. Stein is here first. I just put this up like literally a couple minutes before I went live, and Stein still managed to get in first. So happy New Year, Stein. Harut, happy New Year to you. Hope it's been a good year for you guys, and you know, let's make our goals, our dreams come true in 2022. Let's stop fucking around, right? There's some things I want to change, and I'll get into that in a little bit. Ian, hey, what's going on, Ian? Thanks for joining in. For me, I got back from Scotland in January, or about February 1st of 2020. right when the pandemic hit, and had the time of my life in Scotland. And the stress from the pandemic it wasn't, it was about a month after that where all my clients started to lose their gyms. And the stress of that had just kind of crept into my life. So there's some minor bad habits I want to fix. Nothing major. I've been putting together more home gym equipment. I'll take you guys on a tour of my home gym soon. Been adding a lot of machines and, various stuff. I want to get back to really training hardcore 4 days a week and running at the same time. All right, what do we got? What's going on? Happy New Year. Over to Minnesota. You're probably buried in snow right now. Eric, what's going on, Eric? Happy New Year to you and Derek as well. I just did a video chat with Derek yesterday. If you look at Derek's avatar, it took me a while to figure this out. The dogs are going crazy out there. It's Dungeons and Dumbbells, and you can see, if you look close, you can see a dumbbell at the end of the dungeon. So it's a pretty sneaky logo. Rico, what's going on? Happy New Year, Rico. And big game this weekend. Yeah, a lot of big football games if you guys are into that. What do we got? Paladin. I have elbow pain. I already use grips. Possible causes are the bench press or tricep work. Any advice? Without knowing where it is, if it's on the inside of your elbow, it's likely elbow tendonitis. If it is not on the inside of your elbow, I have no idea. It's unlikely that the bench press, and I'm not saying it's impossible. It's rather unlikely the bench press is the major cause of this. But tricep work can be the cause of elbow discomfort. A lot of times what you see is when people do tricep exercises, they try to keep their elbows in some kind of arbitrary fixed position. Like on skull crushers, they'll try to keep them tucked in instead of just letting them flow freely, putting a little bit of extra stress on their triceps. Now, Paladin, I don't know this is the case for you, but for anybody watching, my advice would be to let your elbows travel more naturally. And beyond that, I have no idea. I would have to learn more information. I'm not a doctor. I'm not an injury specialist. There are things like elbow tendonitis I know can be improved with Versa grips. But beyond that, no idea what's going on. The only thing you can really say is if an exercise is bothering you or causing injury, it's time to remove it for at least a while and find exercises that don't aggravate it. Jerry, 13 hours of fasting so far. Happy New Year. Thank you. Thank you, Jerry. Appreciate you joining in. Stein, goals next year to gain some muscle and get a little bit leaner. Now, for those of you that would like to follow along on that same path, let me see if I can find it. If you go over to my website, and I made a video about this, so you can get most of my information on my website is available for free. But if you go up to the little search or rue button and you hit bulk, you're going to get massive bulking. And that's going to teach you how to do bulk and cut cycles over the course of a year, improve your muscle mass and get leaner. So if you don't want a fat bulk, if you want to improve your body composition or you want to bulk wisely, head over to my website and check that out. All right, Fabien, Happy New Year, big, hairy, ugly dude. Peace from France. You are literally 5.5 hours ahead of us. So you're a little bit closer. Happy New Year. Hope things are well with you. Mohammed, my question, is it possible to gain mass if you're diabetic? Absolutely. Absolutely. Having diabetes will not change the physiological mechanisms that impact muscle building. I came down with really bad type 2. When I was strong, I was eating like crap. I was a binge eater. and I was not taking care of my body. I was getting enough calories. I went on basically no sugar, no flour, no junk food, and I also went no grains. That's how aggressive I went after my diabetes. And I got to my biggest and strongest during that time. You don't need to rely on junk food, fast food, white sugar, white flour, and even on a minimal amount of grains, just meats and fruits and roots and veggies and things like that, plant-based foods, you're going to be absolutely fine. You just have to get your calories in, get your protein in, and train hard. Sledding tonight with my wife, only in Minnesota, right? Well, there might be some countries over in Europe that have some snow right now. Excuse me, guys. Speaking of cold, it's freezing in here. All right. I probably asked this before, but how much volume do you do for big and small muscle groups? Big muscle groups, basically you start, well, first off, for those of you guys that are watching, a big muscle group, look, I want you to know we're putting things in categories based on, how do I say this intelligently? Based on, 50, 60 years of training, how we want the body to look, what are the more major muscle groups. And after you target the primary bigger muscle groups, which would be considered the major muscle groups, how much work do you need on the minor muscle groups that are already involved with the major muscle groups? So, for example, you're training your back. When you're training your back, your biceps are involved, and maybe to a degree, your traps and forearms and things like that. So, a major movement pattern or major muscle groups, big muscle groups, involve smaller groups, or smaller muscles. When you work them, yes, they might, to a minor degree, tax your back or your forearms, but they won't do it anything that's going to impact really hypertrophy. So, with that said, the major muscle groups I look at when structuring a program are back, shoulders, chest, and quads. Now, just because I don't have hamstrings thrown in there or whatever doesn't mean I consider it an unimportant muscle group, not at all. But for those groups, I start with 9 to 12 sets. I start to build out the framework of my program. And this is just a starting point, it's not a rule. So I build out the framework of my program. And then from there, I'll add in 6 sets of biceps, 6 to 9 sets of triceps, 6 sets of hamstrings. Then you can throw in 3 sets of traps and, so on and so forth, 3 sets of abs if you want, 3 sets of calves. Overall, if you use this type of structure, you're going to get to about 72 quality hard sets a week. That's a starting point. And we can adjust from there. But this amount of work would generally require 4 solid workouts a week. So we can pull back a little bit. We can train harder with a little bit fewer sets. We can train 3 days a week, 3.5 days a week, etc. So that's a good starting point. I'm going to see if I can find a video on my channel real quick that dives into it. So just hold on 1 second, guys. Hold on 1 second. And I'm going to go over to my channel. Let me share this with you guys. If you go over to the main channel, I'm going to search sets muscle group and see what happens. The search button over on YouTube is magic. Recommended sets per week for hypertrophy. That's 7 years old. Sets per muscle group. I don't know. There's a lot of information. And I don't see the video I was looking for. So if you guys have any further questions, let me know. There's a video out there. I just need to find it. 3 days grace. What's going on? Unconventional. I'm at work today. Sorry to hear that, but I'm at work today as well. Just one of those days, right? I'm hoping to get a little bit of a break tonight and enjoy time watching a movie. We were going to watch Matrix Resurrections, but I just read the reviews online, and man, it doesn't look so good. If anybody has seen the movie, let me know your honest thoughts. Nigel, tonight just heading to my parents for a quiet family evening, maybe some cards and board games. That sounds like a good time. I'm a big fan of board games. I like really obscure games. Not so much the strategy games that take like 17 hours, but I'm a big fan of board games that aren't just the same old, same old. What do we got here? Morgan Robert, intermediate 3 days a week lifter. Is it better to do 2 upper days, 1 lower, or full body? The best way to do things, Morgan, and the way I have a lot of my clients do things is do an A/B type of split. Basically, what I do for a lot of clients is I structure in 4 workouts, A, B, C, and D, and then they rotate between those 4 workouts over the course of 3 days a week, 4 days a week, or whatever. So it's basically a flexible schedule. You can train 3 days a week or 4 days a week, or you can alternate depending on how you feel that week. But the structure I use a lot is upper, which is chest, shoulders, and arms, then posterior, which is legs and back. And then we do a B variation of chest, shoulders, and arms, and a B variation of legs and back. And you have 4 workouts. So you got some exercise variety built in. You can do that over the course of 3 days a week. It's going to be a little bit more manageable for you than a full body. And I would definitely consider that. Now, the sexy little workout style you mentioned here with 2 upper days and 1 lower day is actually an interesting way to train. Something I've never put together before, but thinking about it, that's completely possible. That's not a bad way to train at all. You have an upper day on say Monday and Friday, and then a lower day on Wednesday. So your lower day, you're going to do your leg work. It's going to be like a regular leg day. The upper day, the issue you're going to get into is that you have chest, shoulders, back, and arms to work in. So you have basically 5 different exercises at minimum you're going to need per day. To get your volume up, you're going to need to be, let's say, 10 sets for chest, shoulders, and back. So right then you already have 15 sets. No, wait, you have 30 sets. And then if you add in 6 sets each for biceps and triceps, you're at 42 sets. So you're looking at a minimum somewhere around 42 sets or 20, around 20 per day on your upper days. Now, one thing you could do is unplug Bicepticons from that mix and slide them into your middle day with legs, because they aren't a taxing muscle group. As long as you're doing back on Monday, back on Friday, and then Bicepticons on Wednesday, your biceps should be recovered when you do your Friday back work. So that would work as well. So just thinking through this, but that's a possibility. I hope that helps a little bit. Olympic grade lurker. Just before everything shut down, that Olympic grade lurker, I can't tell your avatar. It looks like it looks almost like the trail that goes all the way around Ohio. Just before everything shut down, I ordered all the cap plates and hand weights I could afford, and continued to work out in the basement just to keep up the routine. Well, you got in ahead of us when it comes to getting plates, because right now buying equipment isn't that difficult, but I find finding plates to be at a reasonable price to be extremely tedious. And I'm just checking Instagram. I got a question from Instagram, And let me just see. I'm going to read that real quick. It said, Steve, this didn't go through on the live. Which alternatives would you suggest for hack squats? We don't have a machine at my gym. Okay. So when it comes to training legs and you don't have a hack squat at your gym, one alternative is the barbell hack squat. Not a lot of people like this exercise. Not a lot of people have a body type that is suited for this exercise, but it is certainly something you could try, the barbell hack squat. Beyond that, when we look at leg training, we have the squats, we have the leg press, we have leg extensions, and we could even do single leg extensions. We have things like lunges, and then you could get into supersets of lunges and leg extensions. We have Bulgarian split squats. So we have quite a few exercises we could do. You could even go old school and do sissy squats. Sissy squats probably aren't the best option for the average older individual. When I say older, someone someone over 35 that doesn't have the greatest flexibility or the greatest weight right now. But that's that could be part of the mix. What I would do is have two different leg workouts. One that was focused on squats, one that started the party with leg press, and then from there, you could either do some supersets of like Bulgarian split squats. You could do one leg of Bulgarian split squats and then superset that with the same leg of lunges. And on the other day, you could just do leg extensions. So there's a lot of interesting things we could do. The good things with legs, though, is that you have a lot of options. So he is using the AB muscle building workout next week. I have quite a few different workout variations, Stephen, that are floating out there. So if you can post a link to the one that in specific you're doing, because I probably have over 30 different AB workouts, I'll look at it and make my best suggestions for you. All right, soy sauce. Can you elaborate more on the lower calorie fast food options? McDonald's, Taco Bell, Wendy's, Carl's. One thing I'll tell you guys is like, in the real world or when you're traveling, we need some options. It's not always possible to find perfect food options. So my best advice for you guys is to, number one, look at the menus online of fast food places. So when I was at my peak of training, I would occasionally go to McDonald's. And Stephen, I just got your workout, so thanks. I'll look at it after the live is done. When I was at my peak, I would go to McDonald's because they have a McDouble, which is 380 calories and 23 grams of protein. Now, you have your bun. It's not perfect. But for me, I would usually save 1,000 to 1,200 calories for dinner post-workout. And if I was running late because of work or whatever, once a week I would go through the drive-thru at McDonald's. I would get 3 McDoubles and the rare Diet Coke. And that would be 1,140 calories and 69 grams of protein. So it was a pretty good trade-off. I didn't have the best carb sources, obviously, but all things considered, it was cheap, and I knew how much protein was in it. Excuse me. Now, Taco Bell, I would have to change up or I would have to look up because I do not know. Taco Bell's menu is pretty big, and I am not up to date on Taco Bell's calories, nutrition, protein, because I simply don't go there much. So maybe somebody else can chime in. Wendy's has a chicken sandwich. I believe it's a baked chicken sandwich. And there are also, let's see, there are also salads at Wendy's, which are pretty reasonable. Carl's I've never been to. Round Table, I don't know what that is. Excuse me. Chinese food, look, I'm going to be honest. I like Chinese food, but if you are in a pinch, I would not go for Chinese food. Just too many calories, added sugar, added crap. I always feel like a bloat lord. Burger King, I believe, just has a basic Whopper with cheese, which is probably rather similar to the McDonald's McDouble. Subway, a lot of people bash on Subway, but look, you can basically build what you want at Subway and have it reasonably okay. I mean, sometimes the meat scares me and the old veggies scare me, but I can still go in and get a wrap with eggs or double egg, um, and then load it up with veggies. You can add chicken on there if you want. You can add steak. You can add whatever meat. So even though you have the wrap, you can do egg or double egg, and add add in all the veggies you want. And it's not a bad option at all. So those are my kind of go tos. Beyond that, if you're looking at Chinese food, I would rather have you look at sushi or a sushi restaurant and get some rice and some beef, some hibachi chicken, hibachi steak. I think that's going to be a better choice than doing Chinese food. And it's not that much difference, right? In reality. Excuse me, guys. It's extremely cold in here. What do we got? Josh Benware, successfully finished my cut, but now I can't stop losing weight. Josh, you bring up something really interesting. And this is a phenomenon I experience with probably 1 out of 10 of my clients. I will see, and I can't pretend to know the answer to this and know why it occurs. I am only speculating, but I've seen it many times. You can have a client that is at a consistent calorie intake. Let's just say arbitrarily, for the sake of discussion, 2,200 calories, and they're losing 2 pounds a week. Things are smooth sailing, and then they decide the cut is over. I'm going to bring the calories up. So we slowly bring the calories up to 2,600, and what do you know? They still lose 2 pounds. And then we bring the calories up to 2,800. What do you know? They still lose 2 pounds the next week. And before you know it, we bring it up to 3,200, and they lost a pound that week. So my speculation, and this is something I've seen discussed at times, is that, and this might sound a little bro sciencey, but when it comes to fat loss mode or fat storage mode, the body isn't exactly like a switch. There are many factors involved, hormonal and otherwise, where the body can transition over slowly into more fat burning mode if it sees you're going to be in a deficit for a while, or transition more into a fat storage mode. If it was a switch, like every time you went over 1 extra calorie in a meal, it would store it as fat. Whereas if it's really inefficient for the body to continue to store things as fat, pull things as fat, store things as fat. So I'm not saying the body doesn't do that. But what I have found is it seems the body can become more efficient at fat storage or fat burning if you're in a deficit for a period of time. All the stars align, the hormones align, everything seems to just align, and the body understands, okay, this is the way it's going to be. It might sound a little bro sciencey, but I've seen it many times where we would dial in their calories slowly over time. They would hit a peak where they're just cruising along at 2,000 or 2,200 calories and losing weight. And then we would slowly bring their calories back up and they'd continue to lose weight. I've had this happen at least with 3 or 4 clients in the past year. So nothing to panic about. The only thing I would say, Josh, is just slowly back your calories up until you find things stabilizing a little bit. And then once they stabilize, you can make adjustments from there. Cesar, just my first competition, and I got feedback that I need more arms and less legs, I would assume. Focus, Cesar, on your triceps. Get as much triceps work as you can. Focus on the long head. I have a protocol I call Skull Destroyers. If you want to know about that and you're not familiar with that, maybe head over to my channel and search Skull Destroyers. I can pull up the video if I have a moment. Tricep extensions, get in your close grip bench. On close grip bench, don't feel like you have to bring the bar down to your chest, because the more we're trying to work the triceps here, so it's okay to hang the bar several inches above your chest, and explore some other. Get on YouTube and explore some other exercise options like the PJR pullover. Single arm cable tricep extensions are good for the short head of the triceps, and a lot of times people don't do those at all. One thing, there's an exercise that I used to hate called dumbbell kickbacks, but if you do that rest pause style or block training style at the end of a workout, you can really torch your triceps. So really work on your triceps. For your biceps, probably get in 4 quality exercises every 2 weeks so you can do a little rotation. I like to do pinwheel curls, which are basically your palm facing your body. You can get a really good bicep contraction. I like to do those. Dumbbell curls, easy bar curls, or easy bar 21s. And I like to do bent over cable curls because I can really feel a good contraction on those as well. Beyond that, you want to get your back as strong as possible, your rows using Versa grips, and you want to get your pressing movements as strong as possible. Make sure you're doing 2 overhead press variations. I like to do a dumbbell and a barbell, seated preferably, especially if you're from in the muscle building world, and then maybe add in a machine shoulder press. Same thing for chest. Dumbbell and barbell variation, and maybe a machine or plate loaded chest variation as well. One thing I like to add to that mix is dips and push-up superset. On the push-ups, really focus on controlling that push-up so you can feel that chest, so you're not beating up your shoulders. So I hope that helped a little bit. And Cesar, if you're ever in the market for coaching, my coaching is $80 a month. I'd love to help. Shiv, how much time would it take your bench to go from 225 to 275 without increasing body weight? Well, we would have to do some magic a little bit. Like an individual came to me this week for coaching, and they're at about 190, and they want to improve their bench and keep their body weight around 190. So what we are doing, Shiv, is we are still bulking. We're trying to take his body weight from 190 up to 195 or 196. Then we're cutting back to 190, and then we're repeating the cycle. So basically, even though our weight is staying the same, we're going to be improving our body composition. We're going to be in a bulk or calorie surplus at least 10 months out of the year to help facilitate bench progress. So you need to understand maintaining your body weight sometimes involves periods or cycles of bulking and mini cuts. So I do have a protocol that I use with a lot of my clients. I have it featured on YouTube. And let me see if I can find it real quick. It's recent, and the search. I have a very recent video about the bench protocol I use for a lot of my clients. Check that out. It's hard to get into, what it's going to take for you to increase your bench just in a video like this, because there's a lot of information I'd like to convey to you. But one thing I will say, Shiv, is if you're tired of boring programs, this is my website, superlivingtoday.com. Go to the search and search bench. Now, I want to show you guys this. There's a bench course, a 16-week bench block, and a 6-week bench builder. Look at the bench course. The bench course has a ton of different workouts, bench building workouts for you to try and play around with that can help you with your bench. And this is a really good value. All right. I'm using 137 protocol on deadlifts. But how's 5 by 3, 80% last one's a plus set? Want to know. I'm not sure what's going on, Baki. I would have to have more information. 137 protocol on deadlifts, but how's 5 by 3 plus 80%? I think I might understand what you're getting at. If you're doing a 5 by 3, for those that are watching, the last set could be max safe reps. So you're doing, assuming that's 5 sets by 3 reps. You're doing 3 reps, 3 reps, 3 reps, 3 reps, and on the last set, you're doing max safe reps. If you would hit 5 or 2 over the goal, which is 3, then you would add 5 pounds the next time you do the 3s. I think that's what you're asking, but I could be wrong. Shiv, can we increase bench press number by doing floor press and close grips? You can improve the likelihood of increasing your bench by inserting variations. Close grip bench is something that I love. There's no harm in including floor press. There's no harm in including chains. I believe you must have dumbbell benches in the mix as well, so on and so forth. So I would definitely have a good bench protocol in place and then have your dumbbell benches in place. But beyond that, you want some other pressing movements to play around with. And you could have your bench and your dumbbell bench, 1 and 2 in your workout. Then your third lift could be alternating between floor press and close grips or whatever. So there's a lot of options available, but I would definitely consider trying some of those variations. And when you do them, give them a good run. Give them a good run of 3 or 4 months before moving on to other things. See what you learn, see what you like, see what you don't like. Stian, what's going on, Stian from Norway? 3 days grace. Faz hasn't joined you in a while. I still talk to Faz. I talked to Faz yesterday, not on the phone, but through WhatsApp. And we still communicate. Faz is one of my favorite people on planet Earth. And anytime Faz wants to join me, he can. Faz is trying to grow his business. And I know he's very busy, so I don't like to burden him. Stan, is it normal to experience pain in the muscles, joints, and connective tissue after a workout? I never get past novice due to this. Is it normal to the point where it's debilitating? No. Is it normal to feel worked and fatigued and some strains? Yes. What I am curious about, Stan, and this is not me being critical in the least, is when, let's say you work bench today, and do you experience the pain during the set? So if I gave you a bench protocol, would it prevent you from pushing sets for max reps today? Okay, that's the question. If not, how long is it lingering? And I'm assuming it prevents you from pushing for max safe reps on the next workout. So if that's the case, I would be curious to know how frequently you're training. Is this triggered by full body? Do you notice it? Like, let's say you do chest 3 days a week. Is it there to the same degree as if you worked your chest on one day? And is there a rate of decay when it comes to improving how you feel? What I'm really getting at is, if you do a full body or a bro split, is the intensity the same? And would you benefit from doing, say, 6 to 8 hard sets of chest on a bro split, more of a minimal style, and then taking a week away from chest? Would you feel better? I don't know. I'm just tossing out questions. Richard Murray from Scotland. Happy New Year, Richard. Olympic level grade lurker. I got bored watching the new Matrix. I appreciate your feedback. We were going to watch that tonight, but man, I was peeking at some of the reviews, and there are a lot of 1-star reviews. So I don't know. I don't know that I want to invest my time on New Year's. I'm not sure that's the way I want to end 2021. If you guys have any movies you would recommend for me or anybody else to round out 2021, for those of us that aren't getting wild and crazy to end the year, go ahead and post them up. Kalen, Happy New Year, everyone. 100,000 subs soon. I basically, I got to say this. I just want to appreciate everybody's support the past year. I sincerely appreciate it. I've been doing YouTube forever, and working with Muscle and Strength and working with Tiger Fitness and doing my own thing. I've always kind of been like the guy that just keeps moving. I never had the best body, never the strongest person in the world, never the best ultra runner. But I love what I do, and I appreciate every one of you that follows along and that supports me. And getting to coach is the ultimate fulfillment of that. Would I like to see a big fat plaque on 100,000 subscribers? I mean, I'm not going to lie. When you did YouTube for 10 years and you haven't gotten there, and everybody else has, it's like, yeah, I wouldn't mind. I wouldn't mind being part of the club. But at the end of the day, my focus on a daily basis is getting all my information out there to the point where I improve what I'm teaching, and I improve and I continue to learn, and I continue to help you guys, because I'll be 55 this year, and the tank's on a quarter full. I can't keep doing this forever, and I'm not going to live forever. But this is my life's work, and this is what I enjoy. And I would love nothing more than to go out fighting on this fucking thing called YouTube and continue to help you guys to age 65 or 70 or whatever. And I'll tell you what, I'll be 55 this year, and I plan, I'm going to do everything I can to be the most badass 60 and 65. When I walk into the gym, you can call it ego, you can call it whatever. I'm not trying to beat other people, but I want to be better than other people. I want to be stronger than the 18-year-olds. I want to do things the 20-year-olds can't. Not to poke at them, but heck, if I can do them at my age, you guys can do them at your age. And that's a part of it. All right, enough babbling on, right? Sebastian, daily protein recommendation and meal frequency with maximizing growth in mind. What we know from a scientific standpoint is you don't have to eat every 2 hours for muscle growth, but it is a good idea to eat 3 or 4 times a day. We understand that that's basically the consensus of modern science. So you want to get in probably at least 25 grams of protein minimum during a meal, probably 30 grams, at least at minimum 3 to 4 times a day. Now you're saying, well, that's a minimum of 90 to 120 grams. Yes, that's a minimum. But for the average male, some of this comes down to calorie and macro balance. 150 is kind of my gold standard. Let's get lifters up to 150. If you want to eat more, 170, 180, you can. If you like protein, you want to eat 200, 220, you can. If you're down around 140 and you're a male, you're too low. You're generally too low. Is it going to, be critical to the muscle building process? Probably not. But there's an imbalance here in your macros. You're relying too much on carbs. You're relying too much on fat. Because let's be honest, if you're eating your plant-based foods, and you're eating your proteins, and you're eating some, quality carb sources, if your protein is low, that means you're probably relying too much on calorie heavy carb sources, which are grains are fine, in moderation, in my opinion. But then you kind of increase the likelihood that you're eating too many junk carbs. So try to focus on getting your protein up just for that reason alone. 3 Days Grace, you watched Spider-Man? Not yet. I wish it was on digital. I wish we could watch it on digital. My wife's coming in here. We haven't watched the Spider-Man yet. What's going on? Here's Mr. Bubba Sausage. Mr. Bubba Sausage is ringing in the new year. Bubba, what's your goals for 2022? To be not so fat, Bubba?
Don't be so rude. And he's going to be like, he just dances. He's like dancey dog.
Thanks, Bubba.
Look, he's all excited.
That's Snoops. Snoops is my dog. That's Snoops right there. Bubba, what are you doing?
Oh! Yeah, take it.
Yeah. Snoops is my dog. Snoops sleeps by me. Oh, you better grab Bubba. He's going to jump over my shoulder.
Oh my gosh. And he's like,
this is my dog, Mr. Snoops. Mr. P. Snizzle. He sleeps by me every night. He's my good buddy pal.
And this boy gets to snuggle mama.
Yeah. All right.
Okay, come here.
Come here, you little rodents. Bye. See you guys. All right, where were we? Haru, what's the last movie, remake, sequel, prequel that actually stood against the original? Yeah, it's a very good question. I think one of the first that, you look at like Aliens and the Alien, there's an argument to be made that Aliens was actually better, if it's certainly equal to Alien. I love both of them equally. And sometimes I almost love Aliens more because of the Space Marines. It's just two different types of movies, and definitely both quality. I mean, in the modern era, I'm trying to think of superhero movies. One of the movies that really caught me off guard in a good way was Doctor Strange. Now, I grew up with the Marvel Universe. I liked the Marvel Universe as a kid. It's what I was exposed to. I didn't hate DC. I just was never really super, saturated with DC Comics. I like Marvel so much. I spent time with Marvel, but I didn't read Doctor Strange a lot. So me and my wife on a whim decided to watch Doctor Strange, and we absolutely loved that movie. I absolutely loved it, and I can't wait for a sequel. I hope the sequel is better than the original. And if you guys have any movies where you think the sequel was equal to or better than the original, let me know. What's going on, Neo? Neo is up there in Minnesota. Hope you have a good 2022 plan, Neo. You got some madness going on tonight. All right, Eric, with a good question, and I welcome your guys' questions, off topic, anything. What are your biggest training mistakes? Very good question. These might be boring, but the biggest one is taking time off. I was on a roll for 2.5 years from age 18 to age 20 and a half-ish, just crushing it. 2.5 years of just crushing it. Strength was great. Benching 315, squatting 400, arms were 16 and a half, big legs. Everyone was like, man, you're killing it. I was starting to get the attention of women, don't judge. But when you're a ganky, lanky, stupid, skinny, fat kid, and all of a sudden you got some muscle and stuff like that, and your confidence is going up, you're in a pretty good place. But I met a girl back then, and I decided to go in the military. She moved to Philadelphia to be a nanny. And I went in the military so I could try to be closer to her. That was a big mistake. So big mistake was I stopped lifting. Not going in the military wasn't a mistake, but I really stopped lifting during that time. And then I took for about 3 years. I don't know if I'd lift a little bit, but I wasn't serious about it. So there are times when I took time away from the gym, not extended periods of time, but just when you're away from the gym or not doing it full speed, over the course of a year, those are mistakes. Another mistake I made was I think one of the biggest mistakes I made, even though I was young, was trying to train hard 5 to 6 days a week. Now, I know a lot of you guys are like, I train 5 days a week, I train 6 days a week. And I'm not doubting or saying you don't train hard. But for me, with how I was training, when I moved up to 6 days a week, my body just got just beat up. So training 4 or 5 days a week was a little bit smarter. The worst period I had as far as nagging injuries and aches and pains and strains was when I was trying to train 6 days a week. And I think probably my biggest training mistake was when I got into ultra running, doing 12 hours a week and not allowing enough time for my primary passion, which was lifting. Lifting got reduced to 2 or 3 sessions a week, and they were just kind of slapped together. So those are my biggest mistakes. Bill, hello from DC. What's going on, Bill? Bill's a member of Team Massive. If you guys would like to join Team Massive, head over to superlivingtoday.com. We have a huge group of guys. We have some good conversations going, real mature stuff, no trolling. And with Team Massive, you pay a one-time fee, and you can get form help, you can get recipe ideas, all kinds of stuff. It's just a good community. Where are we? OMFG. Why does YouTube keep deleting my comment on the other channel? No idea. But it does that for me as well on other channels. Like I'll see live videos come up by other lifters and I'll post a question and it doesn't get seen. I have no idea. So it's not me. My question was about how much less muscle will I gain if I do 5 sets per muscle group a week with 1 upper and 1 lower session a week. It's look, these are questions that are, if I'm going to be fair to the question, it's hard to answer, because if you are training hard and getting everything you can out of all the 5 sets, you're probably going to be okay. Like if I can only do 5 sets a week, I would make those 5 sets count. I would take everyone to max safe reps. I might even do some rest pause or drop set or superset work. So the best way I can phrase it is, don't think about how much less muscle you're going to gain. Think about how much you can get the most out of those. That's kind of the attitude that is an attitude of success. Do what you can. And then from there, if you have room to add in an extra set or 2, let it rip. And I will say, OMFG, over on my website, if you go to the Save Big tab, there's a custom workout design. And that's only $99, and I put together custom workouts for people. I'm going to see if I can show you a sample of one. If I can get it to load here. If I can get it to load here. Why does it keep doing that? I'm putting in putting in Google Drive. Well, that's silly. I can't get it to work. All right, Felix79, happy Friday from Colorado. You guys got some stuff going on out there, fires or something I just saw in the news today. Happy New Year's Eve. I got hit with COVID. Hope you feel better. Richard Murray, just download the Massive Iron Cookbook. Looks fantastic. Thanks. I will say it's not a huge cookbook, but it is filled with meals I actually eat. And it's not $100 or $200 or whatever the heck the other cookbooks are. 3 days grace. While doing RDLs, I can lower the bar max to my knees. So while doing actual deads, I have to round my back a lot. Are deadlifts still worth it for me? I would like to know why. I'd like to look at form, and I'm not doubting you at all 3 days. It just helps for me to see video. When you're doing RDLs, make sure you have a little bit of knee bend and that you're pushing your butt back to lower the weight. I'd like to take a look at that. Are deadlifts worth it to me? If you have to round your back, I'd like to look at form, because without looking at form, I can't really comment. There might be some things I could fix. So if you can send me a video on Instagram or whatever, I'd be happy to take a look. Big Bill Monty, my favorite fast food option is Chick-fil-A egg white grilled. I actually haven't been to Chick-fil-A in a while. Last time I did like the baked nuggets thing or whatever they have. So that sounds like a winner. See, I'm having different exercises in the same period each once a week, such as back squats and front squats each once, or switching out back squats twice a week with front squats twice a week in each period. Um, I, Somebody asked me on the Team Massive group yesterday about swapping exercises and basically which ones I would keep in on a weekly basis. I would keep in back squats on a weekly basis because I find if I don't do those on a weekly basis, my connective tissue gets a little bit weak. My disconnect with form gets a little bit weak. So I'm okay with deadlifting every other week. I'm even okay with benching every other week as long as you have a variation in the mix. But with squats, I would probably do a back and front squat each week rather than doing squats 2 times a week and then front squats the next week twice a week. Philo, eggs and double egg equal double farts. I do not get gas from eating eggs, so I would say you probably have mutant DNA. Neo, my favorite fast food are White Castle cheese sliders. I have no idea why I like them, but I do. That's the thing with fast food, man. Like there's a pizza locally called Marco's, and not locally, but it's a more regional chain. And man, we love their pizza. I get the meat pizza with bacon and steak and old school pepperoni and new pepperoni and Italian sausage, and it's just a meat fest. And no idea why, I just love it. UWM 8. I have chronic insomnia, so only get 6 average sleep a night. Over the course of 1 to 3 years as an intermediate, how much less muscle? I don't think it's really going to play a major issue. There are a lot of guys out there that don't get perfect sleep. All I can say is crush your nutrition, make your nutrition count. You want to fill in the gaps the best you can with really don't focus on just calories, focus on nutrients, nutrient rich foods. This industry is so filled with people that just focus on calories and macros. Focus on nutrients, foods that are nutrient dense. That'll help you as much as possible, and it'll only help even if it's a minor degree with sleep. I would also say, get as much rest as you can. Get in some stuff weekly for your heart, cardio. Take care of your body. That will help facilitate just good health and better performance. But if you're training hard, you're really not going to see that much of a difference at all. Kevin, cutting 20 pounds before starting my bulking plan. Drop my calories to 1,800 a day, and goal is dropping 1 to 2.5 a week. Having a hard time dropping pounds. Tracking calories, still lifting heavy. Kevin, if what I would do next if you were my client is number one, and this is just what we need to do troubleshoot. Are you writing down every bit and bite? Okay. Are you writing down every bite of the 2 pretzels you snuck at lunch, the sip of beer, whatever? Are you tracking all your condiments and oils, that sort of thing? So if that's in order, what I would do next is I would look at a couple things. What is your daily activity level? Are you getting enough steps in? I don't need you to become an ultra runner, but I would aim for 7,500 steps a day. I have seen on a lot of clients that don't really that are struggling to get over 5,000 steps a day that their metabolism just kind of tanks. So I would look at your daily steps and see what you can do to get 7,500 a day, just a little walking a day. Beyond that, we want to look at your carb sources. We want to rely as much as we can on lean meats, fruits, and roots, plant-based foods as well. And I say plant-based foods like mushrooms and things like that. But you want to make sure you're not getting any flour, flour, processed sugar, junk foods, fast foods, seed oils, and maybe even minimize grains. So eat things like lean meats and eggs and fish, and you can have up to a couple ounces of cheese a day if you want, things like that. But that's what I would do next. That would be the next step. And if you're tracking in MyFitnessPal, feel free to send over a couple days of meal or your meals so I can take a look. Cesar, sorry. I need first arms and legs in that order. Is there any program split I can do? It's not really going to be about program split, Cesar, as much as just a reasonable program. What I detailed for you earlier as far as arms, legs, I would not just rely on squats. I would make sure in a 2-week block, I would like you doing some volume on squats, leg press, hack squats, lunges, leg extensions, and maybe even Bulgarian split squats. So just have a wide variety of leg exercises. Make sure you get the big 3 in there: hack squats, leg press, and squats as a starting point, and you can go from there. Big Spoon Bear, happy New Year's Eve, dude. Thank you for tuning in. I appreciate it. Philo 68, where in Hades is the supplement engineer? Is he still around? He has a channel. He has a channel. So I haven't heard from him forever. Jive Cat, the Magnificent. Gonna go do a deadlift PR today. Wish me luck. You guys are the best. Happy New Year's. Good luck. Get it on video and share it with us. Any change in training and diet if suffering from food poisoning and or poor bowel movements? Well, first off, food poisoning. If you have food poisoning, you probably want to wait. When you're sick or when you have food poisoning, you're going to wake up one day and you're going to kind of feel better, right? That doesn't mean you're at 100%. Like if you've had the cold or a flu or food poisoning, you wake up one morning and you feel better. The thing we have to remember is feeling better doesn't mean we feel like we do normally. It means that we felt better than how we felt when we were a disaster. So I would take an extra day off after you feel better. Get in your water, get in maybe some extra carbotrons, some carbs. Make sure you get in your electrolytes. If you're struggling with poor bowel movements, make sure your water intake's good. And one thing I'll say is take 2 or 3 large tomatoes, dice those up, eat those, eat a jar of pickles, and report back in the morning, right? See if there's been a blowout. Guys, we are an hour and 3 minutes in. I'm going to continue rolling along as long as you guys have questions. I appreciate your guys' support. Just a quick commercial. If you head over to my website, superlivingtoday.com, and I'm going to pull it up because I can. It's my channel. I'm going to annoy you with a quick commercial. But if you go over to the coaching tab, there's coaching for $80 a month, 3-month commitment. Please sign up today. I'd love to help you out. And I'm with you every single day. We set up a time to talk, create a workout, go over exercise form every single day, so on and so forth. All right. Best way to add plyo exercise is a 4-day full body workout. It's not really a best way. It really depends on the exercises you're going to be doing. I don't really like explosive movements when your body is super fatigued. I think that's a recipe for disaster. So if you're going to do them, I would probably it depends on what you're going to do. Like I used to do box jumps and I posted a video of myself on Instagram. I would do squats. And then after squats were done, I was still not completely washed or super fatigued. I would do a more explosive movement like box jumps. So you can program them into your daily training depending on what exercise they are. I would not do them when you're completely washed, when you're completely fatigued. And I don't mean to give you a non answer, but some of this depends on actually what exercises you are doing. All right, I'm going to have a little bit of caffeine. Teacher Strong. Same with me, actually gained a pound on 1,800 calories. Like I said, guys, let's look at steps first. Look at food choices, um, specifically carb choices, white sugar, white flour, processed foods, seed oils, and then maybe kick grains out of the equation. And Teacher Strong, getting stronger each day with PRs, body's looking better, but scale is stubborn. That could mean you're gaining, that could mean you're recomping a little bit. It's possible. It's possible. It happens. It's rare if you haven't built a lot of muscle and strength to begin with, it can happen. Or if you lost muscle in the past and you're returning to the gym, it can happen. Richard Murray, I recommend the new Spider-Man movie. I heard it's just a rock solid movie. Felix, not worth watching The Matrix. Save it for another day. Will do. Shiv, I just wanted to get some extra information. I started gym on 25 November. I used to do powerlifting in 2017. Currently, I'm benching 100 for one at 65 kilogram body weight. Looks like you're doing good. And I forgot the question, Shiv. So I don't have time during the live to go back. But if I missed anything, hit me up on Instagram at Ben the Barman. Jerry, that's how I feel about fasting. I'll fast until the day I die. Using Myo reps all the time in the long term for most exercises except for big compound movements. That's fine. I would also encourage you to check out my rest pause or bulldozer system. I believe it's superior, and my mom believes it's superior. Nigel, as long as you keep staying true to who you are with the honest advice, I'll keep tuning in. I won't change. The only thing that'll happen to me, Nigel, is I might go senile, lose my mind, and just start babbling incoherently. If that happens, just send me whiskey and cigars and messages of good luck. Josh, Cobra Kai season 4 came out today. Are you a fan? I have not started that yet. So we got into Yellowstone. We started Yellowstone. We watched Nurse Ratched. There's a couple series that we invested in. My wife had never seen Breaking Bad, so we digested that last year. Neo said Star Trek 2, The Wrath of Khan was way better than Star Trek. You know, Neo, I remember Wrath of Khan, but I'm not going to lie. I do not remember the original Star Trek. I just don't. I would have to jog my memory. I guess maybe it was that forgettable. Robert Anthony, could you speak to how volume work done is affected by level of intensity? If I train to failure too much, I find my fatigue is high and it takes longer to recover. So when it comes to training, and this is a simplification, but it's a reasonable simplification. Excuse me. You have a triangle. Okay, that's about as good as I can do on my triangle. You have volume, intensity, and frequency. So if you let me get this out right here. Okay, we got an Allen key. So this is an Allen key. But say you rested a plate on that Allen key or a triangle. and you had volume, intensity, and frequency as the 3 points of the triangle, you're balancing on that sucker. If you add more volume, you have to pull back on intensity or frequency. This is a generalization, but it's a reasonable analysis. So if you add volume, you have to pull back on the triangle on intensity and frequency. If you add intensity, you have to pull back on volume or frequency, and so on and so forth. Now, intensity, when it comes to this, what we're talking about here is weight relative to your 1 rep max. So when I say volume, intensity, and frequency, intensity would be like, say, doing 5 singles at 90% of your 1 rep max. That's weight relative to your 1 rep max or intensity. So when you increase one, there's probably a chance you're going to have to pull back on the other. So Robert's question, could you speak to how volume work done is affected by level of intensity? If I train to failure. So this is a different form of intensity. If you are trying to train each set to failure or near failure, it is going to make the relative density of your training more difficult. So you probably need less volume. So what a good starting point for somebody that likes to train like this, and I would not train specifically to failure, but I would train to safe failure, meaning push each set for as many quality reps as possible, stopping that set when you feel like you're going to fail on the next rep or your form is going to break down. So practice safe sets. So with that said, start with 2 to 3 sets per exercise and adjust per exercise. Don't make a broad sweeping adjustment like that sucked, I'm not recovering, I'm going to drop every exercise to 2 sets. Okay, make adjustment exercise to exercise by exercise basis. Does that make sense? Or you could start with 2 exercises per body part and build up. So if you do 2 sets of bench to failure and you feel like that's manageable, you could add a 3rd set, or you could add a drop set or rest pause techniques or superset or things like that. I hope that helps some. 3 days grace. Should I be worried about DIAAS of different protein sources? DI, let me just go to the magic. It sounds like some digestible, indispensable amino acid source. What I would worry about 3 days grace is getting in a good quality amount of diversity with your protein sources. And you primarily want to worry about protein when it comes to meat, animal-based products. So focus on a good variety. Focus on pork, beef, bison, chicken, shrimp, seafood, even things like Greek yogurt. Get a good diversity in there. And then you won't have to worry about anything. Then you won't have to overthink anything. Justin P., best protein powder brands. Let's see what Stacked has to say. Best protein powder. Stacked is a website, a supplement website, and I believe it's Stack 3D or Stack 3D. What do we got here? I'm looking. I don't know if they got their awards up or not. If anybody knows if they got like their their top of 2021. Here we got top products, all categories. Let me just pull this up for you. Because if I'm going to look at top products, I'm going to look at what Stacked is talking about. Protein bar, energy, that's best tasting. Protein Wars. So this is the Protein Powder Wars from this year. And Protein Wars is over, with the winner being announced later this week. Okay, so Protein Wars is over. I looked at this earlier, this rise, and I was quite intrigued. So I would check out Stack 3D, and they're going to announce their Protein Wars winner later this week. Big Bill Monte. I'm going down to 4 days a week. Even bulking my body has gotten beaten up over time, and hoping less means more. Yeah, just it's okay to pare back a little bit, especially as you get stronger, Bill. Especially as you get stronger, the punishment you put your body through will get more and more intense. Guys, I got 4 questions left in the queue. So if you have any questions, get them in now. This is going to be last call. Usually we stay on about an hour and a half on live. Get in your questions now. Post them up. I am looking to see if there's any Instagram questions that I missed. So hold on a second. And if you guys have any off-topic, questions, post them up as well. Let's see. All right, what do we got? Clara, VOI, FYI. VOI. I just Googled that. That's a VOI scooter. Reimagine your city. And I don't know. Maybe I'm missing something, Clara. I'm too young to figure all this stuff out. Kaylin. That was sarcasm. I'm too old. I noticed CNS fatigue like a month and a half ago. I ignored it, and it became really bad. I took a complete week off, etc. Just be real careful, because a lot of times your immune system could be compromised. If you feel beat up, take a little bit of time off. Don't risk it. Take some time off, a few extra days. UG123. 8 to 12 sets to failure once a week versus 8 to 12 sets total to failure spread throughout the week. Is there much difference in muscle growth? Over the long run, we have to maintain an awareness of what the bigger picture is when it comes to muscle growth. The bigger picture is getting a lot stronger than you are now, being consistent with training and with nutrition, having a good exercise selection, and so on and so forth. So if you have progressive overload in the mix, it's really going to come down to a balance. If you're training more sets to failure, then you're probably going to be able to do less volume. Adding a little bit of volume in and only doing one set to failure or one set for safe max reps is okay as well. There's not really going to be much of a difference in muscle growth over 4 to 5 years. If you take 2 individuals and they get to the same strength levels on all the same lifts over the course of 5 years, and one of them is doing one set per exercise for max safe reps, and I don't like to use the word failure, and the other is doing 2, they're going to have about the same amount of muscle mass just because of natural physiological limits. Now you compare that to the guy that's training for shit, no consistency in nutrition, no consistency in lifting, not training hard, not pushing progression. That's really the guy you have to worry about. And in the short and long term, don't overthink it. You always got to view things in the long term. You have 2 types of lifters: those that follow the memo and those that don't follow the memo. Everything in between is just personal preference, as long as progressive overload's in the mix. Geo Power 50. For over 50 age, if I do 5 to 6 exercises in a session, is going failure on last set okay? Look, we have to stop with the concept of failure. And I'm not going after you, Geo, but a lot of failure comments in this live today. Max safe reps is what we need to focus on. Each exercise, the demands are different. If you go to true failure on a squat, it's going to tear you up, or there's going to be a likelihood it's going to tear you up. If you go to absolute failure on bench, you're probably going to be okay. What we need to focus on is flushing the word failure down the toilet and replacing it with pushing sets for as many quality, safe reps as possible. Stop a set when you feel your form is breaking down because we don't want to get injured, or when you feel like you might fail on the next rep. So somebody's going to ask, what does that mean? If you're on bench and your bar speed slows on a rep, that means you're going to fail on the next rep 99% of the time. If you're doing barbell rows and you're going along and then you hit one that's kind of a grindy and speed slows, you might be able to English up one or two more reps, but you've hit the point where speed slows, and that's basically, safe failure. So is going to failure let's replace failure with max safe reps. Is it okay to do that on each last set? Absolutely. Absolutely. Just listen to your body. And over 50, you might be like, if let's say you do that, Geo, and one exercise in particular, you feel like you need more recovery. Let's say you're doing barbell rows and the last set's max safe reps. And that's the only exercise that's bothering you and you don't feel recovered from. Maybe do that only every other week. Does that make sense? So just something to think about there. Derek, best alternatives for leg curls and leg extensions for home gym. For leg extensions, you have lunges, you have Bulgarian split squats, you have sissy squats, you have front squats, you have barbell hack squats, and you have things like reverse lunges. So those are all good choices. You got to find things in the mix that work for your age and your mobility and your weight. Leg curls get a little bit more trickier. Now I'm going to show you guys something, and this is something. If you're gonna train at home, you're gonna sooner or later. It's going to be a good idea to invest in some equipment for your legs. Okay, it's just the name of the game. Now I have no affiliation with Titan Fitness, but it's what I stock my home gym with because it's reasonable quality for the price. Now, if you go over to strength and specialty machines and lower body, I'm going to recommend some things. First off, this back hyperextension right here. See this? You're like, what do I need that for? You can do glute ham raises on a back extension, and that's great. Great for your hammies. It's probably one of the best exercises you can do. Let's see if I can do glute ham raise back extension. There's a video I usually share with my clients. And oops, I got to go to the YouTubes. Let's see, where are we? Where are we at? Okay. Hold on, folks. This is worth it. Let me see if this is it. I got to mute things so I don't have any music or whatever. Okay. Now pretend that's a back extension machine. You go down, do your back extension, you come up, and then you force your torso upright on the back extension. So you can do that on this. Okay. And that's a really good way to work your hammies. I would strongly recommend that. Now, there is something called monkey feet. Monkey feet. And monkey feet is pretty reasonably priced as well. But you have to have dumbbells. You just strap those suckers on. You can see you're doing hamstring curls, so that's an option as well. So those are low-cost options I would consider. For leg extensions, If you don't want to spend a fortune, come on, view more products. Show me what I want here. This thing right here, a sissy squat. I have one of these. It's great. You can do a lot of volume safely. It's good on the knees, and one of my favorite pieces of equipment. Now look here, for as low as $13.19 a month. If your credit doesn't suck, you can get it in installment payments, and it says it's out of stock. They get their stuff in stock very, very quickly. I just ordered one of these guys. I just ordered a back extension, hyper extension. It was out of stock. It came into stock in 2 weeks. So look at Titan. They not only have some really good equipment for the price, but they also have installment stuff. So if you're not rich, you can be like paying $50 to $75 a month and get some really good equipment for your home gym. I hope that helps some. All right. After 5 years, you reach 95% of genetic limit, potentially. So would it be a smart idea to just train once a week full body at this point? Look, that's a very good question. If you are pretty close to your natural potential, it's really easy to sustain muscle and strength. More so muscle. If you're talking about somebody that squats 600, you're going to probably have to do some extra work to maintain a 600-pound squat. But to maintain that quad size, you're probably going to be okay. Now, when I took up ultra running, a lot of people like, you're going to lose all your muscle mass. Well, hell no. It's super easy to maintain muscle mass. You just have to do a minimum amount of work each week, and you're probably good to go. You could probably drop sets to 4 or 5 per body part. I wouldn't go once a week. That's kind of pushing it. Twice a week, though, you get a lot done in 2 hours a week. That's kind of my bro sciencey minimum. Desert Jackal, I haven't seen your comments show up. If you can head over to Instagram, Desert, and slide into my DM at Ben the Barman right now, I will read your question. So get it in now. You have about 5 minutes. I mean, there's no point in training at all if you're just a recreational lifter, as you only gain an extra pound of muscle anyway. I'm not sure what you're saying. I meant there's only almost no point in training all out. If you're at 95% of your potential, like if you're somebody that trained hard for 4 or 5 years, and you're like a Jeffrey Verity Schofield or a Faz or me or somebody like that, you can beat the living shit out of your body to gain that extra pound or two of muscle, but it's probably gonna take years. And the amount of stress and strain you place on your body, you have to weigh, is it worth it? 100%. Can you make sustainable long-term gains on just 1 to 3 sets a week? I would not push myself down that low. That's way too low. When it comes to facilitating strength and muscle, there is a synergy involved in the various factors. To build strength, you might need some work capacity and some volume and some exercise variety. So we have to look at the myriad of factors involved in building muscle and building strength. It's not simply, sets. We know scientifically that having some exercise variation is good for hypertrophy. We know that building up some work capacity or maybe adding in a little volume over time is good for hypertrophy. So, if you just try to push a minimum number of sets, you're going to get something out of it, but it's not going to be anywhere near optimal, in my opinion. Larry, not a fitness question, but any wisdom of life you would like to pass on for the next generation? A very good question. Less social media. Back in the day, social media the web was a fun thing where we could all explore ideas and opinions and have blogs and thoughts and ideas, and there wasn't a lot of hate. And I do not wish to get political, but I will tell you that when people start censoring conversations, social media platforms or whatever, and you can debate all you want whether they have the right to do so. It's their platform. They can debate whatever, they can remove whatever they want. On my massive iron group, I don't allow religious discussions because I don't want it to degrade into hate. So I control what happens on my massive group. I would reduce social media and find groups, find smaller pockets of people on Reddit, on things like Team Massive Iron that are supportive and healthy and nurturing and positive. I would realize that people control the media and the narrative, and they make money off you staying on their platforms and getting upset. For me, like politics and the COVID stuff, I could get really, really upset. The more you watch it, the more you listen, the more you read, the more upset you get. And it's toxic. Clear your mind, get outside, go do what you enjoy. Here's some life advice. Don't feel tethered to who you are today. One of the best things you can do in life is try new things. Where I came from in life, I had nothing, really nothing growing up. My dad was a violent alcoholic. We didn't have hardly any money. My mom didn't even have a car until she was like 50. I had to walk to school. I'm not singing you some sad song, but everything I had, like I've seen 46 states. I've went out and experienced life and traveled and tried new things and new cuisines and new things. Try new things. Don't take other people's advice, on what you should and shouldn't try. Try fucking everything. Try everything. Go out and live. When you try new things, that's when you expand your horizon. That's when you find new things you like that you didn't even know were possible. That's living. That's like the epitome of living for me. So that would be my two biggest piece of advice. Fuck social media. Fuck social media. And go out and try new things. Just go out and just make life an adventure. And last piece of advice is if you meet somebody in life, whatever your sexual persuasion is, and they're a nice person and you kind of get along and it doesn't mean you have to jump in a relationship. Just remember this. Just because somebody's nice doesn't mean you need to form a relationship with them. There's a lot of nice people in the world, but they might not be perfect for you. Hello. Thoughts on high rep leg work. The government has closed gyms where I live, so I'm thinking 20 to 30 rep goblet squats, one arm. I'm okay with that, Elo. One thing I would have you consider is block work, where you do like as many reps as you can in 1 or 2 minute blocks. So, say lunges. I'm going to do a 2 minute block set of lunges. How many reps can you do rest pause style in 2 minutes? One thing I do with some clients at home gym is I will have them do like 10 reps of goblet squats and then 25 reps of pause jump squats. You could do things like supersets of a Bulgarian split squat. And I like to balance one arm on something. So you could do the right leg on Bulgarian split squats and then superset that with as many lunges as possible, only on the right leg. So there are some interesting things you can do with supersets with rest pause work. I would not just think of things in terms of high rep, but how can you work in supersets? How can you work in rest, pause work, that sort of thing, to get more out of your leg training? Lionel, I would donate money if I weren't a broke college student. Vinny P, one of my clients, one of my stronger clients. My apologies if this has been talked about, but is it worth buying a leg press? Much appreciated. Vinny P. I'm going to go over to Titan Fitness, and I'm going to pull up some leg machines. I think it is worth it, even for the power builder, strength trainer, to get some lower body stuff. I just had this come in, a plate loaded hack. This is one of the toys I got myself for Christmas. Quad strength is very important, and only putting your eggs in the basket and squats. There's nothing wrong with squats, but we want to get those quads as big and as strong as we can. And adding in other ways of doing so is a good thing. I did not deadlift for the first time until 2006. My quads were so strong that getting a weight off the ground was easy. I was up to like 400 right away, and basically 500 within 3 or 4 months. So there are machines like the plate loaded hack. You got things like the vertical leg press, which I hate. I hate loading plates on top of that thing. If you look at Titan Fitness, the leverage squat's a fun little machine as well. This is on back order, but it'll be ready on January 17th. This is a fun little thing as well. So leg press, home gym. I like the leverage squat or the hack squat. The leg press or even the belt squat. But the problem I have with like the leg press, Vinny, is we're like, this is a leg press hack. It's just a beast, right? Putting that thing together, you're probably on a 3-day adventure, and I for that price, I'm going to get the leverage squat and the hack squat. I'm going to be honest with you. And look at it, $59 a month, right? You can always pay extra, obviously. But for me, Vinny, you got the leverage squat. Hold on, guys. I'm going to put you to sleep. Where'd it go? So the leverage squat, they don't list what it is per month. Oh, darn it. Where's the hack squat? Hopefully this is in. They don't list that per month either. Oh, yeah, $42 a month. You can get both of those for probably like $80 a month. So I'd rather get both of those machines than to do a leg press. All right, Carrie. What's going on, Carrie? I haven't seen you in a while. Hope you're doing all right. I've always loved this group. Can't believe I found it live. Carrie, we need to get you over on Team Massive. Can you message me on Instagram at Ben the Barman? We need to get you over on Team Massive. Lifetime chronic insomniac. Thoughts on manual resistance curls, other arm resisting as a finisher after pull-ups, and manual resistance neck curls. Can this build decent muscle? Man, that's a dogfight. I don't know anybody that has built, substantial muscle doing that. It's not the best way. It's better than nothing. And you can fight to get as much as you can out of it, but it's not going to be the best way. At home, you could take a backpack because you have the straps. You could load it with tins of food or even bricks or whatever you got lying around the house and do curls. A lot of things you could do when you get creative. Pedro, are my message visible? I can see you, Pedro. And again, guys, I have just a few minutes left. So if your message didn't go through, head over to Instagram at Ben the Barman. Post it up now. And Desert Jackal can see you. Carrie said, recovering from second knee surgery. Yes, I will. I love it. And I'll message you on Instagram by tomorrow. All right, guys, that is it. That's the last question. Massive Iron Live. We are done for 2021. I sincerely appreciate each and every one of you. And Joe says, joined right at the end. Thanks for all your help. Thank you, Joe. And Tata, see you later. See you later, Carrie. I sincerely appreciate all your support. I really do. And to do this for a living, to be able to help people for a living, to be able to do YouTube and to help folks with their goals for a living is a dream come true. And I appreciate each and every one of you. I do. And I take your goals seriously. I take my goals seriously. I'm not in this to fuck around or waste time. And I've always put everything I can into everything I can to help people. Thank you, Vinny. So I just want to thank each and every one of you for your support this past year. YouTube and the social media world is filled with a lot of people doing a lot of amazing things. And for you to spend your time with me, for you to spend your time with me on my channel, it's an honor. So thank you. So Pedro says, how do you prevent injuries after many years of training? I've only had one major injury. I've always stopped workouts when something didn't feel right. And I've never pushed the limit on trying to see how many workouts I could do per week. And I just train smart. Play the long game. All right, guys. I appreciate you guys joining me. Head over to superlivingtoday.com. Sign up for coaching. Get yourself a Massive Iron t-shirt and check out the workout tabs. There's 8,000 workouts. And I'm going to tell you what. In 2020, look, the last year and a half has sucked balls. I'm over this pandemic shit. I'm over the COVID shit. I'm over the stress. I'm over the chaos. I'm over the madness. And look, I'm going to be 55 this coming year. I'm going to kick ass this year. I'm finishing up putting together my home gym. This is going to be my best year ever. I'm going to do stuff I have not done before with running and with lifting at the same time. So I hope you guys will join me. I hope you guys will make a commitment for a lifestyle change in the coming year. Fuck resolutions, man. Fuck resolutions. Fuck resolutions. What you need to do is get sick of your own shit. Make a list today of all the stuff you're sick of. Make a list of all the stuff you're sick of. And then plan how you're going to overcome it. Plan your attack. Fuck resolutions. I get tired of seeing people not reach their goals. Find a way. Get sick of your own shit. Write down all the things you want to achieve and just remind yourself life is short and go get it. We'll see you guys next year.